Salvete, we're beginning lesson 15, and we're doing lines 300 to 361. Dido is going to, she has found out that Aeneas is leaving, and she's going to confront him, and Aeneas is going to reply. Saivit inops animi, totam quincensa per urbem bacatur, qualis commotis excitas acris tuias, ub audito stimulant trieterica vaco, origa nocturnusque vocat clamore citairon. The subject here is Dido, so let's keep that in mind, review that for ourselves. Dido is a subject. She inops animi, and animi is genitive. She bereft or without her mind, bereft of her mind. And inops takes the genitive, this adjective here. Think of the word ops, which means resources, opes. This is inops, without resources, okay, without having something. So she, bereft of her mind, saiwit, rages. The word saiwai, Eunonis, might come to your mind from the beginning lines of the poem. Remember, Juno is compared to being saiwa sometimes, savage. Well, Dido is now called saiwit, or says that she's saiwit. She, Dido meaning, bereft of her mind, rages. And bacatur, she rushes like a bacchant, or goes wild like a bacchant. Now, what are the bacchantes? Think of the word Bacchus, which is the god of wine, or Dionysus. Bacchantes are Dionysus's followers, women followers. Take a look at Farr's note on this. He talks a little bit about the Bacchic orgies. We're going to see this right down here, or mystic rites. It was this secretive religion in which, according to this, every 3 years, and this happened around Thebes and elsewhere, the Bacchantes, these women followers of Dionysus, would go bonkers out in the woods, and they would wave around these staffs they called the thyrsus, and it was just a big, drunken party. So Dido is being compared to these women followers of Bacchus who just go wild. There's actually a very famous play by Euripides called The Bacchae, and in that play, one of the men who wants to stop the Bacchic rituals, Pentheus, goes in disguise, and he gets torn apart, literally, by his own mother and others that are celebrating the Bacchic orgies. So these are wild orgies, wild mystic rites for the god Bacchus. And think that Bacchus is the god of wine, so it makes sense that everyone would be drunk, or at least influenced by wine. She raves like a bacchant, inflamed per urbem totum, through the whole city. So just imagine that. She's raving, inflamed, through the urbem totum, through the whole city. Those are accusatives with per, the preposition per. And incensa, of course, is a perfect passive participle that modifies Dido. She. So we have an adjective here that's modifying her, and a perfect passive participle that's modifying her. Two verbs that take Dido as the subject, and bacatur is a deponent verb. So bacatur, passive ending, but active in meaning. Qualis commotis excitas sacris tuias. New subject here. Just like, and we got a quick simile here, just a tuias, or a bacchant. This is another word for a bacchant, so let's go ahead and underline that. That's our new subject. And the qualis tells us our similes come in. Just like a bacchant, having been excited, that's a perfect passive participle, going with tuias, is just like a bacchant is excited, or excited when the commotis sacris, with the sacred rites, that's sacris, commotis, having been stirred up. And that's an ablative absolute. ablative phrase describing when and how the Bacchant gets excited. When they take out the sacred things of the temple and they shake them up, then that's when the Bacchants go bonkers and they get excita, they get excited. So we got a perfect passive participle here that's modifying tuias, so it's nominative, feminine, singular, and we have a perfect passive participle here from komoveo, which is modifying sacri, so it's ablative plural, and sacra, I'm assuming, is neuter plural, so it's neuter. So ablative plural, neuter. Just like when a Bacchant, excited with the sacred things being stirred up, baudito stimulantri et terrica Baccho, origa nocturnusque vocat clamore kitairon. When, with Bacchus audito, heard, with Bacchus heard, another ablative absolute here, with Bacchus having been heard, so another perfect passive participle from audio, audire, and it's ablative singular, masculine, with Bacchus having been heard, or when they call yo Bacchus, Bacche, they call him. When, with Bacchus having been heard, and now we got a new subject here, triaterkia, the triennial origa, orgies or mystic rites, stimulate, and you got to put in eyam, her, meaning the tuias, the Bacchant. So one more time on that. When, with Bacchus having been heard, when they start shouting Bacchus, the triennial mystic rites, so remember those go together. Stimulant, stimulate her, the Bacchant, meaning the tuias. And vocat, we got another subject here, and nocturnus kitairon, and nocturnal Kitharon. This is a mountain, Mount Kitharon. How could a mountain be nocturnal? Well, what it means is it's happening at night. This is when these origa are going on at night. So if you want to, literally, it's nocturnal Kitharon. It modifies Kitharon because they're both masculine, nominative, singular, but it refers to the time in which these origa take place. And nocturnal Kitharon woka calls, and then you got to put in ayam again, her, and these are all going to the tuias here, right? Calls her clamore, with a shout, and that's an ablative. Tells us how nocturnal Kitharon is calling. So let's go ahead and do these lines one last time. She, meaning Dido, bereft of her mind, rages, and inflamed through the whole city, revels like a Bacchant, goes crazy like a Bacchant. Just like a tuias, or a Bacchant, having been excited when with the sacred things stirred up, when with the sound of Bacchus heard, or when Bacchus is heard, the triennial mystic rites stimulate her, and nocturnal Kitharon calls her with a shout, or Kitharon calls her at night with a shout.